Okay, let's just quick go over these problems just so you can see, as I try not to correct you as you were doing the problems because I wanted to see what would you say and would you know how to say why. So I do want you to fix if you do not have this as your answer. So we're going to go over them, but if your answer doesn't match my answer, please do change it. Okay, so first one, is this relation a function? No. Is that what you said? Is the relation a function? Said no. Okay, do you know why?
I know why.
Okay, go for it.
It has two y values.
Because, and I'm going to say which one. Which one has two y values?
The 4, I think, right? Yeah.
That's the same two y values, but some number has two y values. That's the correct.
-2.
There you go. Because -2 has two different y values, and we can't have that. Okay, so what would that look like if we were looking at a mapping diagram? What that would look like is if you had this arrow, so eyes up, yours does not, you did not look at this, so here's another look. If you saw that, see the orange lines there? If you saw two arrows coming out from the same x value, that would not be a function. That would just be a relation. But we didn't have that. Every arrow, so if we're just looking at the green ones, every number, 1, 2, 3, 4, had its own arrow going out, meaning it only went to one y value. So this actually was a function because, what's the thing we say every single time? Each x value to only one y value. That's what we say every time. Every x goes to just one y. Okay? Then you had to create one. So two things you should look for is, I'd like it to look like smallest to largest, which I know did not happen across the board. So when you write your numbers in there, it should be -3, 0, 1, and 2. Put your numbers in order. And then the second thing is when you go over to the other side, do not repeat. Don't repeat that number 3. So that number 3 happened twice, but it's a y value. Do we care that the y value happened twice? Nope. That can happen and it's totally fine. So this one right here is a function. Okay, and then the arrows, so -3 went with -1, +1 went with -4. I skipped 0. 0 goes to 3, and 2 goes to 3. Okay, so that's what mine look like. Okay, last one, solve for y. We did this a ton last week, so it was kind of just a hey reminder, and we're going to do a problem just like this in just like a minute. So just a reminder, hopefully you did -2x from both sides. So we've got 3y is equal to, I want the x part first, and then we'll divide everything by 3. And there's your final answer. Okay, so -2/3x plus 3. So check yours, check this one, just make sure that they match, especially the negative sign. So we're looking at two different things. Negative sign in the front, make sure that that got there. Okay, and then the second thing is, did you put the x part first? Because we're kicking it up a notch, we're taking it to the next level, we want the x part first. Okay, so leading into page 14. So page 14, bottom of the page, there is one problem that is not done yet. Okay, so we're going to start with that problem. That is not what we are learning for the day. That is not what we were talking about. But it's a reminder of what we did last week. So we're going to do page 14, the last problem on the bottom of the page, and then we'll move into what we're doing today. So step 1 is you are going to solve this for y. So I'm going to wait just a minute or two, let you solve this for y, just like we did before. We'll make some corrections, make sure everybody's on the same page. Then we'll talk about what numbers are you going to pick to graph. We're going to plug them in, and then we'll actually graph it. So we'll break this down into a couple different steps. So step 1, I'm going to give you some time just to solve it for y.
So which one, number 1?
the bottom one right here on page 14. So just solve that for y. Okay, good. We're at least kind of started on this. So we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. So I'll bring this down here so I have a little bit more room to work. So 5x minus 3y equals 15. We're going to subtract that 5x first from both sides. All right, so here's what we got. We've got negative 3y still. That y is negative. Don't forget the negative in front, but a lot of you that had that done did a great job making sure to bring down that negative. Okay, and now I have to divide everything by negative 3. Okay, few notes to self. Okay, so even if you're done, eyes up here for just a minute. We want to make sure that we all know these couple of things here. First thing is, if you have two negatives right here, a negative divided by a negative is just a positive. So when you go to put this in your calculator, let's put it together as positive 5x over 3. And then over here, since it's 15 divided by negative 3, we'll put that as minus 5. Okay, now we get to pick our numbers. So you pick numbers for your x. Why? Because all numbers work, so you can pick whatever you want. What should you pick? Give me any number you should pick.
Divisible by 3.
Numbers divisible by 3. So what do you want to use?
-9,
Negative 9?
No. Yes.
Okay, negative 9, negative 6.
-3, 0, 3.
Ta-da! We can use those. You could use negative 6, negative 3, 0, 3, 6. You could use those numbers. You could just do one negative if you wanted. Negative 3, 0, 3, 6, and 9. Okay, so now we plug those in. You may not have the exact same numbers picked, but regardless, our line will look similar. It's just going. Is it off the graph?
It's -1.
Okay.
So I'll have to use just
So let's do 6 instead.
Wait, even 6 is big because it's 15. Or -6. It's 15.
Negative 6 is 15. Okay. What about negative 3?
Negative 3 is fine. That's 10.
Negative 10?
Yeah.
0 should be negative 5 when you plug it in. 3 should be 0. 6 should be, do we see a pattern yet? 5. Yeah, so once you see that pattern, and then if you wanted to go another one, it would be 10. But again, once you see that pattern, if you pick numbers that are kind of in order, then you're going to see a pattern, and you can use that pattern to finish filling out the graph, or the table, sorry. So negative 3, negative 10, zero, negative 5, 3, 0, 6, 5, and then 9, 10. Okay. Get those on your graph. Then the question of the day is, how do I connect them? Because here's your level 1 through level 4. Okay? Level 1, you do not connect them because it's just a discrete number of x values that you're given. Level 2, you're told all numbers. Level 3, you're told all numbers. So when it says all numbers, what do? You do a line? So like this? It has to have arrows on the end, because what you're going to see today is you are not going to have arrows on the end. And so that means you don't know the difference between those. And that is how you get a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, a level 4. Putting the numbers into the graph, that's something you're going to do across all the problems. So if you can do that, that'll get you a 0.5 if you can just plug numbers in, because that's a skill that you're doing all the way through. And we actually already tested that skill. So that skill isn't going to get you a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4. What's going to get you that 1 is, do you know to leave the dots alone? Level 2, do you know to connect with arrows? And when I collected your homework from Friday and I was looking, some of us remembered that and some of us didn't. Okay? Okay, just so we know, just kind of in general, it's pretty rude to be on your phone while we're talking about things. Okay? Just kind of in general. It just means that what you think that what I'm saying isn't important. Okay? And you may think that, but I'm trying to help you get the best grade you possibly can on this assessment that we're taking on Wednesday. And in a few minutes, I'm going to be done. And then while you're working, you can be on your phone. Making a point to be rude, or no? You know, put that down just for a few minutes for me. Thanks. Page 15. Page 15, we're going to do just one problem together, and then I'm letting you go. And then you can work. And you only have 2 problems to work on by yourself. That's it. Sure am. Okay, so we are doing the top one together, and then you'll do the second one and the third one by yourself. Do not work ahead, because the second and third one, they're the same thing. Look at this. Y equals 2x minus 5, y equals 2x minus 5. I did a copy and paste and I didn't change it, so don't work ahead. Okay. Because we're going to actually make that change together. Okay, so here's the difference right here. This is the only domain we have not talked about. So your domain, hopefully you know what that means. If I asked you to read that to me, would you know to say that x needs to be between -1 and 3? Because that's what we have said several times. When we see this means between. So what I need you to do is I need you to pick x values that are between -1 and 3. But -1 has to be your first one, and 3 has to be your last one. Okay, so this one has to be the first. This one has to be the last. Other than that, the numbers in the middle don't matter. You could pick 2.5. It'd be silly, but you could. Okay, so what numbers do you want to pick?
0, 1, 2.
0, 1, 2. Makes sense, right? Just pick those. And then we plug them in, we put it on the graph, and the only difference is how we are going to finish off the graph. So, somebody type this in for me. What, type in -7, okay. 0 would be -5. -3. You see that pattern already? -1 and 1. Okay, let's put those on the graph. So -1, -7. 0, -5. 1, -3. 2, -1. 3, +1. Okay, so again, level 1. You know to leave those dots alone because your domain is a list of numbers. Okay, level 2, it says all numbers. Level 3, it says all numbers. So we need to do an arrow. Level 4, right here, level 4 says, I just want the dots between -1 and 3. So where are the dots between? Right here. So we are going to connect the dots. No arrows. No extended line. You're just going to connect the first dot to the last dot and be done. Because those are the only ones that count are the ones between -1 and 3. So we are going to connect with no arrows. Okay? Okay, here's what you're going to do now for the next one. You got to cross this out. Don't do this. Don't do this one. Don't do this one. Don't do this domain. You got to change it up. And they're on the board here. If you can't see what I'm writing, they're on the board here as well. So we've got -3x plus 8 is our equation with a domain of between 0 and 4. And I won't ever not put that equal to sign there because that means we would do an open dot instead of a closed dot, but we won't do that. This is just brand new for us, so we'll keep everything as equal to, so all closed dots. And then down on the last one, again, cross off the equation and the domain that are there. And we're going to write 1/2 x minus 6. With a domain of -2 to 3. Okay, and that's it. Those two problems are all you got to do. And you've got 10 minutes to do them. 12 minutes maybe? Nope, we get out at 15. Sorry, 17 minutes to do them. There you go.